Welcome, everyone. Happy 4th of July. And in the United States, 4th of July is symbolic of the birthday of the United States. It also happens to coincide just a few days after, my natal birthday. So happy birthday to me too. And in honor of all the birthdays, and especially the symbolic representation of the United States, I wanted to offer and to provide to this community a gifted activation. I'm going to allow Source to lead me through it, but it's about the codes of freedom. And I just want to say a few brief words before we begin. This will only be about 20 minutes, and there'll be an activation for codes of freedom in the DNA and also in our DNA, but we'll also grid it into the earth even more, even though it's been gridded into the earth. And this is why humanity is being liberated and freed at this time. For those who hear the call, it is a calling. It is a vibrational shift. And unfortunately, for those who are unaware or who do not have codes of freedom activated or who have not heard the energetic vibrational calling, they don't necessarily realize how, in some ways, humanity has been giving up its freedom steadily for a long time. And so by activating these codes, we will support and assist more of humanity being liberated from the old matrix and the old grid of basically enslavement and entrapment and that old paradigm, that old hierarchical oligarchical program, patriarchal program of domination, manipulation, coercion, secrecy, conspiracy, dark agenda, manipulation through the use of brainwashing, which happens through the mass media by brainwave entrainment every time we engage with old paradigm structures like that. And so these codes of liberation and freedom, which we're going to do, will facilitate the further awakening of each of us into more freedom and liberation, which will affect you positively on an individual basis, because you will begin to realize how you're free in ways that you never perceived yourself to be free before. And that will further free you from your own unconscious programming of the past, where you perceived yourself to be in some way entangled or ensnarled or blocked or limited, and perhaps you did not realize it. You didn't realize consciously that you could be something greater or somehow freed and liberated from something that was keeping you stuck or small. And when we anchor it into the grids of the earth, it will further assist the whole of humanity in waking up and freeing and liberating ourselves from an old oppressive regime, which is operating secretly to manipulate through fear and coercion humanity to stay enslaved and give away its most prized possessions, in a sense, that are free to all, which is the consciousness and the awareness of the individuals. I'm already getting activated for this. And yes, of course, their DNA. The most prized possession on earth in physical form is the DNA of the humans, and that's because humans are the root race for all races in the universe, galaxy, cosmos, multiverses. I'm asking as I'm saying. So here we go. Let's do this now. And this is our gift as light workers to ourselves and to our brothers and sisters on earth, for those of us who choose to participate. And we'll be working with codes of freedom and codes of sovereignty here, and activating and choosing liberation. Liberation is the Freedom and liberation are the key words here. We've done a lot with sovereignty as well, and that's a factor. So with that, if you're willing to participate in celebration of the birth of the freedom for this country in the United States, and the freedom and liberation for yourself as an individuation, and the freedom for humanity, and also in honor of my own birthday, let's begin. This will require your active participation. And as always, with all of the activations that I do, these are 100% positive, 100% in service to the light, which is I'm in service to Source, Creator God, one true God of light of creation, however you reference or understand or identify that source of your own. We are all part of that source. And that source is infinite, omnipresent love, infinite, omnipresent peace, infinite, omnipresent, omnipotent awareness. And as we are working with it now, just begin to breathe some relaxing breaths. I won't bring you into a full-on meditation, but to the degree that you're able to get into a deep, long, slow, relaxing breath, so that you begin to feel already relaxed through the breathing process, where you can feel the breath come into the brain and go down the throat and go down into the heart center and fill up the gut and the solar plexus region, and then breathe even deeper, longer, and slower, exhaling whenever you feel comfortable. Fill up the reproductive center, the base of the spine, and then in the next breath, whenever it's comfortable, exhaling. On the next inhalation, feel it go down and travel down the entire vagus nerve, which travels along the spinal cord. Just breathe it all the way down. And exhale when it's comfortable. And on the next breath, long and slow, deep and relaxing. So you're not just breathing in the throat or the chest, but you're breathing all the way down to the base of your spine. Then drop it down into the earth as you're able to. And this is what you want to be practicing while I'm beginning. And your job is to get yourself as relaxed and comfortable as you possibly can while you're breathing and relaxing and letting the entire body come into homeostasis and resonate with the breath rather than the thoughts. So the breath can be a breath of love, a breath of peace, or even better for today's particular activation, a breath of freedom and liberation. Let's breathe that in. Breathe in freedom. Exhale when it's comfortable. And breathe in liberation. And feel when the breath comes in as it fills up the brain, the throat, the high heart, the full heart. Below the heart, down into the whole solar plexus region, the lungs and the belly center, and then even deeper, exhaling when it's comfortable, then filling up the belly button area, the lower dantian below the belly button. And then reproductive center, exhaling when it's comfortable. Next breath of freedom and liberation, all the way straight down now to the reproductive, and then down to the buttocks, base of the spine. One more breath whenever it's comfortable. Inhale, exhale, long and slow, deep and relaxing, all the way down the vagus nerve, along the spinal cord. Freedom, liberation is the energy we are breathing in. And down the spinal cord and out the buttocks or base of the spine or through the seat bone, the sit bone, and down into the earth. Mother Earth, Gaia, Sophia. That's all you need to do during the time we're together. And we are simply calling in Source, Creator, one true God of light of creation, and its infinite, omnipresent, omnipotent frequency, energy, vibration, consciousness. and allowing it to travel through the whole body, through the breath, and recognizing here as aspect of that source, that one true God of light of creation, as it is flowing in and through us and around us. With your conscious breath, now I'm going to separate a little bit more in sense of my individuality and unify now more with all that is. And for all beings participating now who are willing and ready to further activate, if you have already, and for the first time if you have never, the codes of freedom in your own DNA, and also the codes of liberation in your own DNA, and also the codes of sovereignty in your own DNA. This is where we'll begin. You keep breathing and relaxing the same way we did at the start. And your job for just a moment is to be willing to receive these blueprint activations in your DNA. Be willing. Fully participating, not passively. Knowing that as you activate them in your DNA, what we'll do next will even further assist the whole of humanity in awakening more fully and completely to the true freedom which is rightfully ours by divine birthright. By our birth, it is rightfully ours. And that with these codes being activated, we will simultaneously receive source consciousness, truth, point of view, perspective, understanding, and definition, all gifts of wisdom and knowledge and awareness with and from source. Source is awareness of what it truly means to be free and to have freedom and to live with that freedom and to embody that freedom and to energetically be attuned to and aligned with freedom. And also the same for sovereignty, what it means, what it feels like to have and to embody liberation and also sovereignty. What it means to experience your life with true liberation and also sovereignty. What it feels like. How to live your daily life with it. How to embody it, that you do and are embodying it, and that you are vibrationally attuned to this liberation and this sovereignty, all with and from the gifts of the one true God of light of creation in terms of its consciousness, its truth, its point of view, its perspective, its understanding, its definition, that your truth, your point of view, your perspective, your understanding, your definition is aligned with the one true God of light of creation on these topic areas of freedom, liberation, sovereignty, and that your vibrational embodiment has now these frequencies, these vibratory states of being and embodying, and that your daily life reflects this to you, all in ways that are good, right, and appropriate for you, and according to God's divine plan for you, for your most benevolent best, and for your role in this physical reality of all of light of creation and of all of light of creation. And that if you're willing now to receive these gifts, you must consent. And even before you do, let's also call in your children. Now, please know you cannot call in anyone's children besides your own from your own birth, unless, of course, if you adopted them and they are your own children, and they must be under the age of 17 or under. You cannot do it for an adult. But you can call them in with your mind's awareness and then take some more breaths so you get back in the frequency. And you can also give it to your animal companions, as long as they're yours and not someone else's. Or if you are currently the legal guardian of them, that includes fostering them because they are in your care. So the animals can receive this too, because all animals also choose it. They want it. And so your yes is a yes for them, your children and your animals, because you are the legal guardian. Therefore, you are able to say yes, not someone else's children and not someone else's animals. And not over the age of 17 for a human child. Now with that, calling them in is as simple as thinking their name 1 to 3 times or seeing them in your inner mind, either and or both. And now taking a deep breath and allow Source, omnipresent, omnipotent, to do it no matter where you are physically on the planet, no matter what time or date or day you are listening to this. Source's energy is here with us now, working with us and for our betterment. So take a long and slow, deep and relaxing breath. Breathe in freedom. Breathe in liberation. Breathe in sovereignty, and it shall be done as I am the facilitator and the energetic vibratory bridge, in a sense, for you now. Let it be. Let it be. Relax and receive. Let me get out of the way. Few moments. We're working with your DNA here, but also the entire vibratory state of your being. You just breathe and notice as you give consent through your breath. A long, slow, deep, relaxing breath allows it. Or the words, yes, please, and or yes, thank you, just once or twice or 3 times. Relax and receive. Here it comes, nice. Just notice a few moments. If you feel like you're noticing nothing, just breathe a little deeper, just relax and allow. And have no worries or concerns, because if you feel like you're noticing nothing, it usually just means you're a little new to this, or you haven't gotten yourself quite in vibrational harmony, which is why we ask you to breathe a little deeper, relax and allow. There's more. Oh, there it goes. Good. A little more. And full integration here. And anchoring it in every cell of your body and being, and throughout the totality of your existence, and for your children and your animals too. Anchoring these frequencies, energies, vibrations, and these gifts of consciousness in. And allowing. Good. Now, that next breath, the next breath you make, I want you to take everything you've just been given, all of the energy. You don't have to know how to do it. Just do it as if you did know how to do it. Take your palms, if you're willing, and place them face down onto the ground or the seat, like as if you're pointing them down at your sides towards the ground. And breathe in one more time, deep and long and slow. Everything you've just received, and you're not giving it away, you are giving it You're adding to it. You're giving it and sharing it is what I want to say. Sharing it. Now put your hands face down. With the next breath, let it come all the way down through the core pillar once again, breathing in through the brain, throat, upper chest, high heart, heart center, lungs, lower heart, rib cage, belly center, belly button area, lower dantian, below the belly button, reproductive, base of the spine, buttocks, sit bone. Release down now. Let it go all the way down into Gaia Sophia. That every human, plant, animal, mineral, and all of Mother Earth, all kingdoms and all realms receive these gifts as well. We give it to the whole of humanity. Drop it down into the crystalline grids if you know where they are. Otherwise, don't worry, just with intention. All the crystals. I've got my crystals here. I'm already anchored into the crystal grids. All the way down. That the whole of Earth, all kingdoms, all realms, all humans, plants, minerals, and animals, all of Mother Earth, Gaia Sophia, receives these gifts too. And Source, Creator God, allows us to be the vehicles in the physical light reality of sharing it with the whole of humanity now. Let it be. Breathe. Allow. Notice. If you haven't opened up the base chakra, if you feel tightness in the buttocks, relax the buttocks area, the lower legs, relax. Let the energy flow through. Nothing really for you to do other than that and breathe. Feel, sense, and see. Notice whatever you notice. Allow Source to do the work. It shall be done. I'm going to get out of the way a little more. Good, and this is done. Thank you so much for participating. Happy birthday to the United States and to me too. And if you'd like to know more about working with the crystals, the Crystal Grid Network, doing grid work, and learning how to help humanity during this very pivotal time of freedom and liberation, sovereignty and awakening, please go to LoriSpagna.com and also check out the Crystal Retreat in Arkansas, which is coming up in September. You can go to LoriSpagna.com under the Live Events tab and get all the details on that. If you'd also like to know more about working with crystals, go to LoriSpagna.com/free gifts/crystals. And you'll get tons of information about working with the crystals and utilizing them to help and to facilitate healing and awakening for yourself, for your animals, for your children, and for the whole of humanity. With that, I want to say thank you so much for participating and for being part of this community. I love you so much. All my love. Until next time. Bye-bye.